Okay, this video is basically going to be our example video of our section 4 solids in contact question. As you can see here, basically what we're given is a sphere, a cylinder and a cone. Now what the question says is a cone A, so our cone A, and our cylinder B, which is here in elevation, and a sphere C of radius 30 millimeters is placed so that it touches both the horizontal plane and both objects. So we know it's going to touch the horizontal plane and it's going to be in contact with both of these objects. And to do that, it will either be placed back here, so behind objects, or in front of them here. Now what we want to do is we're going to draw it out here in front so it's nice and clear so you can see it here in elevation out in front as well as below here in your plan. Now the problem is when we're completing the elevation and plan here and including all contact points of that sphere touching off this cone and this cylinder, we need to basically complete a special construction to ensure that it's placed in the right spot here so that it is just making contact with the cylinder and the cone itself. Now the first thing I would note first of all is that the cylinder itself, we're viewing this surface of the cylinder here as this curved line here. So we know when the sphere is touching off that, it is going to be touching it off in a way that you'll be able to see the contact along this line. Although when the sphere is touching off the cone here, it's going to be going over the base circle here, if you know what I mean. It's coming in on it. So that bit of the circle itself, when it's represented below here for the sphere, is going to be coming in over the cone. So now to know where to place it, we have our construction. So what we're going to do basically is we're going to create that sphere on the left hand side and right hand side. The left hand side here of your cylinder and the right hand side here of your cone. So I'm going to first of all start off by doing it over here on the right hand side of my cylinder. Now to do that, all I have to do is basically bisect this angle. So, extend my line through it. Now all I have to do is have a parallel line to my XY line, which is going to be 30 millimeters up, so I know that the sphere itself is going to be touching off both the cylinder and off the horizontal plane, which is represented here by the XY line. So now as you can see here, we got a point, and that point is where a 30 millimeter sphere will touch both off of the cylinder and off the horizontal plane, as shown here. Now any bit of inaccuracies will show here by it overlapping on the horizontal plane, so going below the XY line here or going through the cylinder. So just be careful, have your lead nice and sharp, your pencil nice and sharp, and your compass nice and sharp, just to ensure that it is as accurate as possible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down so it is here in my plan. Now remember, all this is construction. Like so. My compass again and draw my sphere below here in my plan. Now remember, this is not the position of the sphere, this is just where we're placing it before we're going to swing it in to find out where the location is around here, because remember it has to touch off the cylinder and the cone. So if I go to my central point of my cylinder here, I get the central point of my sphere and I rotate it around like so. Okay, now I extended a bit further than I think where it's going to be the center of the sphere over here, just so when I bring over my sphere here, bring it down and rotate it around where that line intersects, that's the central point. So now I have this side completed. Go over to this side. Similarly again, all I really need to do is bisect this angle. with sphere drawn in, all you need is basically a perpendicular, a perpendicular line, yes, to the XY line here. You drop it down. Your central point. Bring it down. We're basically bringing it down with our plan again. Just making sure that it's the correct distance. Like so. Now you can see how your sphere here is overlapping your cone like I was talking about before. Now, like we've done over here, we're just going to get the central point from the apex of the cone here in plan, and we're going to swing another arc. What we're basically doing is rotating this sphere around, and where we've rotated the center of the sphere on both sides where they intersect is now the new central point for the sphere here. So all you have to do is take your sphere again, so which is radius 30 millimeters or 3 centimeters. Take that distance. I'm just going to take it from here. Put it like so. It should be touching off of your cylinder and overlapping your cone. Now, this is the final place for your sphere, so you can put that in nice and heavy. Some of these lines I've gone a bit heavier than you should have. The reason for that is just make it nice and clear here when you're looking at it in the video. As you can see here, it's making contact with the cylinder here, and to find the exact point of contact there, all you have to do is join the central point of your cylinder and the central point of your sphere, and this point here, then you can identify that as your point of contact, is one of your points of contact. And we can now draw our sphere above here in our elevation. So I just take up the central point. I know where it hits the line here where I had 30 mm up is going to be the central point because it's touching the horizontal plane. Take that distance again, drop it here. Again, this sphere is nice and dark, it's the outline of the actual solution itself. I'm going to take up my point of contact. So if I carry that straight up here, this point here is the point of contact, this same point of contact here in elevation. We know that it's along this line because that is the widest point here of our sphere. So along this line somewhere is going to be where it's contact, and we know that it meets here, so when I take that straight up, and where it intersects is the point itself. So I'm going to mark that in. Now we have another point of contact, and that point of contact is going to be touching the sphere and the cone. To find that, it's a bit trickier. So what you need to do is you need to locate it first of all over here on this sphere, which we first of all drew here off to the side. What you need to do is have basically a perpendicular line to this line here that travels through the central point of the sphere. So if I'm to do that, like so, I've located where the point of contact would be if the sphere was located here. So all I need to do is bring that down here and then rotate it. So if I bring that down, like so, get my compass, rotate it around with the sphere like we did before. Now we don't know yet where it is along this arc, but what we can do is we can join the center of the sphere itself to the center of the cone in plan. Where it intersects is the point of contact between the sphere and the cone. just another point of contact. Now we need to do is find that again above in elevation. So what we can do here is I'm just going to basically create a generator traveling up along the cone itself. So if I take where this line intersects the base circle of the cone, so have that go up to the apex of the cone, like so, and then I just carry this point directly up till it intersects that line, which is our generator, and we'll find a point here, and that is going to be our point of contact above an elevation for where the sphere touches the cone. And that is your drawing completed.